Hello, sysfailure here again. Today we're looking at Snapshot 14W19A. Now there's only a few things in this, mostly bug fixes again, but a couple of little interesting features. First thing, can't actually demonstrate in-game, and that's there's been improvements to the model format. That's the format that's used to represent blocks, things like this and this, that sort of thing. They're all models. Can't really demonstrate that in game, but it's more sort of technical stuff if you're interested in that. There's also, if you look at the bottom of my screen here, so like down here, there we go. You'll see I've got a bunch of little faces and some arrows. What that's representing is that now you have in Spectator mode, which is game mode 3, you can actually teleport to players and their little faces will show up down here. So this is just an example of how it might look. The faces are actually at the moment take up the entire square, but I don't have access at the moment to a multiplayer server that has multiple people on it to demonstrate this, which is a bit of a shame. So just imagine these are people but a little bit bigger. You'll be able to select the teams, and then on the teams, the person you want, click on it and you'll teleport to them and then you can see what they're up to. If there's too many people, there'll be a couple of arrows on the end. Not this kind of arrow, but it's an arrow all the same. And I'll just let you scroll back and forward through the people to teleport to them. So that's a couple of things I can't really show you. Now, the couple of things I can show you, there's been some changes in regards to the good old world border that's been brought in, and also the slime block. Now, I'm going to cover the world border changes first. So I'm just going to fly up so you can demonstrate it. So, as you can see, sky is nice and blue and everything. But if we just encroach upon the world border here, there we go. All the corners of my screen have gone red. And that doesn't matter if I'm looking at the border or not. And that's a warning that you're really quite close to the border. So we'll just come back to the island and I'll show you what these settings are. So we've got world border. Now previously we had, as you can see, center, which would set the center point, which I have on the other island across to the side. Then set obviously is the size of the border. At the moment, this one over here is set to 200. And then you can set the size and the time to shrink to that size. The other couple of parts are damage and warning. Now, if we have a look at the warning one, oops, let's try taking set off first. That would help. Right. So we've got warning, time, and warning distance. Now, the time warning is if the border was encroaching, if it was to keep moving, say with a time warning of 15 seconds, would that encroach upon you within 15 seconds? If it would, that will turn the edge of your screen red to warn you that basically if you don't move, you're in shit. And distance is just the distance to how close you are to a world border that will actually detect it's there. Now, the other one was damage, and for that we've got buffer and amount. Now, what the buffer is actually an area just beyond it. So say this was a border here. I'll demonstrate this in a second. But say this was a border here and you had a 5-block buffer. Then there, and there, you wouldn't take any damage if you were outside the border. If you were beyond that, you would take damage, and that's where the damage amount one comes in. So if we have a shrink of the border, so let's see, we'll set a world border to 100, which is just past us, and we'll do that in 20 seconds. Now, I've actually got the time warning set to 15, so that probably shouldn't be like that. I think it's slightly buggy. But that's encroaching upon here. So if I go in here, I'll actually be safe. But if I'm outside, and the border passes past me, as it currently stands, you get stuck in the block you're in. So you can't actually head inside the border at the moment. That's, I'd imagine, probably would change considering the buffer feature. So if let's change into normal game mode for survival. Here we go. So I'm outside the border and I'm not taking any damage at all. And that is because of the buffer. So that's the damage one. So if I change the buffer to be 2, and you see I'm free, that's 2, so this should Now I'm outside, and now I'm taking damage. Change the buffer back to 5, and I'm okay. And I was only taking a small amount of damage there. If we go ahead and change the damage amount, and I can never quite remember what damage would be a good idea. Let's see, 0.5 is it? From 0.2 per block? I don't understand the per block part off the top of my head as possibly how far you are from the border. Let's turn that buffer down to 2. Okay, only take a little bit of damage. Change that to 1.0. Alright, well that feature obviously doesn't work too well at the moment. Right, let's put that world border back again. Just so I can actually get out of the thing. Right. Now, I said I would show you the inside one, so I'll set it to 100. And some close, red in the corners, away, not so much. So if I'm here and it's red, if I now set the, which one is it? The warning to only be 2 blocks. Whoops. Sorry, warning distance 2 blocks. There we go. I'm not bothered in the slightest until I'm within 2 blocks. And obviously you can set that much higher. So if I done it 20, well, that would warn me I was anywhere near the border until somewhere over here. That's the idea. So that's the world border. Let's just get rid of that. I will get used to this command eventually. Right, there we go. Now, the other little thing is in regards to slime blocks. Now, you're probably previously aware, if you've seen the last Snapshot video, that if you get on top of here and press a button, it will launch you into the air, and does that to entities. As a few people found out, sadly, it doesn't do that sideways. Well, obviously enough people complained, because now they do. So we're just going to demonstrate this, and I've got so much faith in my little contraption here that only fails occasionally, that I will switch out into survival mode. There we go. So if this goes horribly wrong, I'm in there. So let's see if we can get across to the island. I've got a few of them set up, just try not to fall in. So a few of them set up here to launch me up and across, and then up and across, and so on. The sort of arc of your movement is an absolute pain in the butt to try and figure out the alignment, and the more of these you do, the more you reach the point where eventually just it will not line up very well at all, or just not at all. Which is about there, strangely enough. So, let's hop on. Try and get a decent alignment. Want to be about there. Right, now hopefully this works. Nope. Yeah, as it says, it does fail occasionally. Took quite some effort to actually put the thing together in the first place, and it does sadly screw up occasionally. Well, fine. We'll stay in creative mode, and we'll try again. So, let's get in about the middle, and go. And, whoop. There we go. So this is bloody tricky to actually use the further you want them to go. But it's certainly entertaining. Apparently if you're standing on the ground, these will push you less distance than if you're in the air, which is sort of understandable. You've got ground friction. But that could be quite entertaining. Try to get the alignment of these, though. Absolute pain in the arse, as you can see. And, well, that one shouldn't even be there because it didn't do anything. And if I move it forward or back, it's just not in the right place. That's why that one's there. There we go. So that's it. That is Snapshot 14W19A. By the way, if you're curious about having this little world here, it doesn't actually have a lava ocean by default. There's probably an easy way of adding it. But you get these nice little islands, and there's the mesa biome over there, some more islands there. It's a nice little spawn place, to be honest. The seed for it, with a water ocean, is just 14W19A, as I always actually use the weak snapshot as the world seed. So that's little W and little A. So as per usual, thanks for watching and bye bye. Slime block, that's the one. Wasn't working for a moment there. And the fact that you can push entities up. This includes like players and items, but also sand when it's falling is an entity. So if you catch it at the right time, it will still be an entity and you can launch it up in the air.